Okay, guys. So this is my big fight prediction for Earl Spence versus Mikey Garcia, which is happening while I'm in the UK. So that's 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Um, let's talk about both of the guys. Just get a little background on both of the fighters. So starting with Mikey Garcia. He's come from a boxing family. He's his brother, his trainer was a boxer, and his dad was a trainer. So he's steep boxer, coming from that kind of Mexican tradition. He seems like he's been around for quite a long time. He's only 31, 2 years older than Earl Spencer, but that's because he has started, that Mexican tradition where they start boxing very young, they turn professional very quickly, and they get a lot of fights underway. So he's currently 39 with 30 KOs. So it seems like he's been around forever, but he's only 2 years older than Earl Spence. Spence, on the other hand, he's coming from a kind of totally different background. Essentially, he's like the modern day typical American boxer, which is kind of the problem they've had in boxing in America, is the fact that when they had the Hearns and people like that, they were actually grew up as boxers. Whereas Earl Spence, I believe he did football at college, and he only took up boxing for exercise purposes. And then obviously the football didn't work out, and he just fell more in love with the boxing, and then obviously took it up from there. So he hasn't got a steep tradition in boxing. He's just a general athlete that likes boxing. And that kind of leads me to their careers. So if we look at their careers, Mikey Garcia he's aiming for glory. This is a glory fight for him. He's going for five-time world, five weight, sorry, champion. Unheard of. He's been boxing from 126 to 130 to 135, 140. He's won four titles in those four weight divisions, and he's going for glory at 147. Had a bit of a negative career impact. He was out of the ring for 2 years, and perhaps that's one of the reasons why he's taking this fight. He's been waiting for a big fight for a very, very long time, and this is the fight presented itself, and he's took it. And I'll give Mikey Garcia a lot of respect. I didn't think he was taking this fight. I thought he was going to do this the standard boxer, talk about it, use Earl Spence's name. We know Earl Spence is one of the fiercest guys, but wouldn't take the fight. But he's taking it, and he's going for glory. Earl Spence, on the other hand, I heard about Earl Spence from Mayweather, and a lot of people know that story. Mayweather came out of prison, signed his six-fight deal with Showtime. His first fight of that was a soft touch against Robert Guerrero. He needed a southpaw sparring partner. They brought in Earl Spence. A lot of people hadn't heard about Earl Spence. And, Mayweather had been out of the gym for a while, but he went in there with Earl Spence. And Earl Spence gave him that work. He gave him that work. He blacked up his eye, and Mayweather told him not to come back. And that's been a story that's been well known. And a lot of people have talked about it, and it's only now, I think Mayweather himself talked about it. Spencer's talked about it now, and Leonard Ellaby's recently just talked about it. So we know it's true. And obviously he gave Broner that work as well in sparring. So that's how I heard about Earl Spence. And then obviously he came to the UK to fight Kell Brook. I already knew about him anyway, and I knew he'd beat Kell Brook. And yeah, that's where he is now. And let's look at their careers now. So Mikey Garcia, he's going for glory. He came off that 2 year layoff. He was in legal litigation with Top Rank. Shame, because he's a boxer, and it really is a shame when things like that happen. But he was out those 2 years. He's come back. He's fought. His last fight was against Robert Easter at 135. He won a title there. Unified the titles. Got another belt. Before that he fought at 140 against Liptis. Won a title there. So, he has been kind of going up and down in weight. A lot of people saying he's jumping up two weight classes. Well, yes, his last fight was at 135, but, he has been higher to 140. And we know when he did fight Broner, he was at 140, but Broner's a big, Broner fought Pacquiao at 147. So maybe the weight might not be an issue, but ultimately that's what I do think it will be an issue. And, he's aiming for glory. He could have fought, he probably looked at it, and then perhaps he's probably thinking to himself, he's fighting these guys. He's not really getting a lot of motivation. He needs a big name to kind of bring it out. And that's what happens sometimes. You fight a better performer and you fight better. it happens, and that's probably where he's thinking, what, I need somebody to pull it out with. Furman was just coming back, wasn't really ready. Pacquiao, he at the time wasn't signed with Al Heyman, so we didn't really know what he was doing. Porter and Garcia were fighting. They didn't have a belt, so why would he fight them? Earl Spence was the guy that had the belt, was the guy that was ready, was free, and was on their side. Obviously, there's Crawford as well, but to fight Crawford, he's gonna have to sign with Top Rank, and he ain't gonna do that. So, that's where he's kind of at now. He wants that big challenge, and he's got it. He's taking on Spence. The other side, Spence. He's a bit interesting with Spence, and then kind of again with the whole Al Heyman fighters. After he beat Kell Brook, he's only fought twice, against Peterson on Ocampus. Not really. Peterson, okay fight, but not really. If we think about the Kell Brook fight, it's like 2 years ago now, so he hasn't really progressed as far as you'd think him to. Again, with a lot of these Al Heyman fighters fighting once a year, and he's meant to be the new big star. One thing about Spence is he never really talked before. He's been hanging around with Broner a lot. Hopefully, it's just to get that personality effect, because we know Broner's a rubbish fighter, but he's getting the big paydays because of his mouth. So hopefully that's why he's hanging around with him, not he's hanging around with him drinking and going clubbing, which if he is, that's going to be detrimental to his performance. But he's kind of been just not really doing much, to be honest, Spence. And this opportunity come from him, and a lot of people are like, why didn't you fight Sean Porter? He's the WBC. It's the same, there's no weight effect. It's a better unification fight. But would that have been a pay-per-view fight? I don't know. Michael Garcia's got a big fan base with the Mexicans and the Mexican Americans, and this is technically low risk because of the weight. So pay-per-view, it's his time now. So this is really his time. Well, obviously, he fought Kell Brook on pay-per-view, but that was UK pay-per-view, and he wasn't the A side. So this is really his time now. So that brings me to my prediction of where we're at now, and it's these fights are always billed as 50-50, but in boxing there's always something wrong with boxing where you really don't get 50-50 fights, and I don't think this is a 50-50 fight. I think because of the weight, this is a more 60-40 fight to Earl Spence. I think a 50-50 fight would be a Crawford and a Spence, because Crawford has grown into the weight. He's had 2 fights now at welterweight. He's a more better boxer than Mikey Garcia. I think that's a 50-50. I don't think this is a 50-50 fight. From Mikey Garcia's perspective, the only thing I feel that he thinks he can beat Earl Spence, obviously he's got extreme confidence. He's never lost. 39 fights, 30 KOs. He's got the experience. He's kind of probably looking at Earl Spence and thinking, you know what, this guy is from a... He's not. It's the same as the Wild and Fury. He's from a football background. He's not really a boxer like that. That's probably what he is thinking. And he would be right to think that. But the problem is, Earl Spence is an athlete, but he listens. He's got a good trainer, and he has learned solid boxing fundamentals. And Mikey Garcia, he doesn't do anything special. He's got good power at the lower weights. But his last 3 fights, he hasn't actually KO'd anybody. He couldn't KO Robert Easter at 135. So how is he going to KO Earl Spence at 147? Obviously they're doing this snack training and increasing your strength. We've seen this before. We've seen this when Kell Brook went up to fight Triple G. It doesn't work like that in boxing. You have to build yourself up. It takes several fights to get accustomed to the weight. If he's a special fighter, he'll do it. But I don't see it. I think that Earl Spence, with the way he boxes, with the body attacks, he's going to break him down. He's so relentless, Earl Spence. Garcia doesn't have no power to keep him off him. How is he going to keep him honest? He's got good timing, Garcia, great, but Spence is just relentless. And Spence can box, he can box on the back foot. Not as good as Garcia, but he can box. He can use he does come in with that jab. He doesn't just come in rushing straight forward. Yeah, he does have lack of head movement, but he doesn't just come in and go all out. He can mix it up. He is a boxer puncher, and they've got similar styles. Michael Garcia did say, I think we're the same. I'm just a little bit better. I disagree with that. I think they are the same, but I don't know about a little bit better, because Spence has got better power. Spence has probably got a better chin. He hasn't been down. We've seen Garcia down. We've seen Garcia hurt when he broke his nose against Salido, and he's essentially quit because, you know, he was up on the scorecards and he went to the score point. So, you know, I'm going for a Spence victory here. I think Spence is just going to be relentless. I think Spence, he's not just going to headhunt, he's going to go to the body. And we saw at the weigh-in, you know, aesthetically, you know, that people do have better bodies, but we did see Mikey's lower body looking soft from going up. And I just feel that Spence will go to the body and probably take him out. If it's not a quick stoppage, it's going to be around, you know, a 10 to 12 good sports bet prediction. I don't think this is a 50-50 fight, you know, but I will say this, going forward, you know, I've heard Earl Spence say if he wins, he's going to be pound for pound. You know, absolutely not. No, I believe pound for pound, one of the criteria is I look in pound for pound. And it's not a defining criteria, but it's one of the criteria is that you have to won a belt at different weight classes. Earl Spence has only been at one weight class and he has only won one belt at that weight class. So I don't think he can beat Garcia and then say I'm pound for pound. Mikey Garcia, if he's to pull this off, he will be pound for pound. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, maybe Spence wasn't that good. No. Spence right now is the best at welterweight. You know, Furman is not looking that good. He's better than Porter and Garcia. We don't know about Crawford yet because he's not really had any meaningful fights in the welterweight division. You know, Jose Benavidez on one leg, and Jeff Horn is not meaningful to me. So Spence is the best at welterweight at division, and you know Pacquiao's old. A division that Mayweather was previously the best, so that says a lot. So if Garcia was to beat Earl Spence at 147, he definitely goes into pound for pound. It's essentially maybe number one. Good case for him, number one. Definitely top three, top four when you've got Usyk, Crawford, and Canelo. That's the guys they're saying right now. So, and sorry, Lomachenko as well. So definitely top five, definitely top three. I'm sure some people will say number one. I just don't see it though. I just think that his confidence is going to be his downfall. He's going to go out on his shield. You know, he's going to have some success because he can move around and he's got the experience. But I think Spence is just going to be too relentless. And once that power is not stinging him back, because, you know, he didn't get Robert Easter out there. I know he dropped Robert Easter, but he didn't get him out there. Spence is just going to be too relentless for him. And, you know, that's my prediction. Oh, Spence, KO, round 11. Thank you, guys. And look out for more videos. This is the start.